You are now tuned in to According to His Purpose podcast, a space where we focus on self-love, healing, and discovering our God-given purpose. This podcast has been created for anyone that's ready to meet a new and better version of themselves. Welcome to episode 12 of According to His Purpose podcast. I am so grateful to be here today. This episode is titled Realness and Wellness, and I have the perfect guest to fit that title. He is someone that I feel is walking in his true identity, someone that is genuine, someone that is real, and someone that I feel has found his purpose in life. And so, let us welcome a father, a son, a friend, Charlie Verna. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this episode.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This in this episode, we're definitely talking about realness and wellness. And I'm like, who else is, the perfect person? It, of course, is you. Ever since I met you from the first time you was selling something. You was in business. That's how we connected. It was in business. I was buying a product from you. And as the years have went by, you've been very consistent, and you have ventured out from the products you were selling then to selling something now that I feel is very needed in our community. Something that you can't just go to the grocery stores and purchase. So you found that product, you found that thing that is a need. And that's the key to business. If you find something to meet the people's need, you got a good product. So before I just kind of jump into everything, um, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, about myself, 41 years old, father, hard worker. Been at my career job for 18 years. Actually, been a business owner for years in numerous different businesses. Kind of pretty much like you said, been jumping around from business to business, trying to find myself. Um, Always been a motivator. Kind of like like to walk the path and lead the way. And
Mm-hmm.
by example, not just for the ones around me, but for my daughters, uh,
Mm-hmm.
a father and a protector. That's the direction I've been in pretty much all my life. Um, Man of God, always been a man of God. I was raised by uh, a lot of and my entire family is a
Mm-hmm.
family of God. So I've pretty much been on a decent path, my entire life.
One thing you said, like, a man of God. And I think, the benefit of being a person that believe in a higher power than yourself is you have somewhere to go to seek guidance. For me, I'm weary and I'm leery of people that don't seek any type of guidance. Like, how are you going to lead somebody if you don't have a source that you go to receive your help? One of the things about this podcast is that we really focus on discovering your true self, because we live in a world where I feel people are afraid to be themselves. Like they're just, they don't trust themselves. So when it comes to business, when it comes to different visions and things like that, you see more of eyesight versus vision.
Right.
Meaning, people will look at what the next person's doing and they'll try to copy that thing. And so as you see, as time goes on, it doesn't work for them. When
Right.
I look at your life and when I look at what I do know about you, just being a young person that you work for a good company here in the city of Louisville, you've been there for a long time, getting ready to retire soon, if you please. With your business, it seems like you've been very consistent. So, you found your thing, you found your niche, that thing that, is your purpose. And so it's hard for people, it seems, to be able to do that. Give me your background on what exactly you do, and also um, how have you been able to stay consistent over the years like you have?
What I do is actually I run a seamoss company, which is a natural herb. For those who don't know what seamoss is, seamoss is a type of red algae that grows in the North American and Caribbean shorelines waters. What makes my company so different from others is that infuse other herbs in with my sea moss to give you more benefits. One of sea moss's biggest benefits is that it eliminates mucus throughout the entire body. And if you
Mm-hmm.
follow Dr. Sabi and all of his work that he's done in his time while he was here on the earth, um, you know that it eliminates mucus from the entire body, and every major disease it started from mucus and inflammation throughout the body from not eating according to your culture, or basically just not eating the right thing and putting the right herbs and minerals in your body.
Okay.
This summer, actually is my third year running this company. Um, I've been uh, I've been taking CMOS myself for almost 6 years, but I've been in business with CMOS for this. Like I said, this summer has been it's coming up on my third year. Because it wasn't easy. Like one thing that I have learned to kept me doing this for these 3 years is consistency. I've learned from everything I've done in the past that consistency is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is the number one key for all success. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what you're going through, as long as you keep on and keep on and keep on, keep pushing, keep faith in God, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna work out. You're gonna get people that try to discourage you, try to guide you the wrong way. You just gotta keep pushing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really the number one key to any business or anything in life. Period is consistency. Even when it comes to your health. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people get discouraged because they think things are supposed to happen overnight and it don't work that way. Life is not, life don't work that way.
It sure
Um,
don't. It sure don't. So would you say the pandemic was like the kickoff where you got the idea, you seen the, all the vaccines and everything, and people still not getting well, people still dying. You knew that we needed to do something differently, or was that your motivation, you think?
well, it was a scary time, and it's actually still a scary time. You got to look at what the pandemic did to a lot of families. It put a lot of separation into families. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my family itself has not been the same. I come from a huge family that every holiday we spent together from, I'm talking 4 or 5 generations under the same
Mm-hmm.
household. I haven't seen that in 3 years with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So it does a lot in that third. I feel like the pandemic created a lot of mental illness also. This pandemic scared a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, from people having to make decisions if they was going to stay at their job or if they was going to lose their job if they didn't or
Mm-hmm.
did not take the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Watching family members get ill, losing family members. I mean, it was a big deal to where everybody, that probably a lot of people that never thought about living better, eating better, they was looking for a different way. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I
I
mean? A lot of
agree.
people like, hey man, I don't want to deal with these medications. I want to find a different way, a more natural way. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say it kind of make things easier, I mean on that line.
I think that was just God's timing for you. Like with you being a person that he could trust to actually do something. I feel like this business is not just successful because you got this great idea. I also, like I was telling you the other day, you as a person, the realness, the genuine. I've never seen you in a bad mood. Like I know you get frustrated because you're not perfect.
Right.
You're not God, but you bring this energy in the room when you enter a room. When someone have a conversation, whenever we have conversations, we talking about life insurance, the next big venture, what you working on, what I'm working on. It's always something to do with getting better. Stop doing certain things, or even like the company you keep and all of this type of thing. Like every time I have a conversation with you, like I'm motivated and I feel proud to have a friend, someone that like I can't afford to have any friends that's not on the positive level, that's
Right.
not trying to grow, that's not trying to just, be happy and be at peace. And I also feel like your personality, your heart, is the reason why you have been so blessed in this business to not just have the vision to do CMOS, but have the vision to like venture out and do more with it. Like I don't know if you even realize how big it is. If you think about like corporate companies, huge companies, it's a lot for them to come up with new and different products. And
Right.
I sit back and I watch you, and you just I said, man, God just giving this man all kind of visions. Yeah, I remember you went from, like you said, infusing it with different other herbs and things that can help you, to the gummies, to making
Stay
it,
relevant. You
easier
gotta
for the
stay
kids to
relevant as a
take.
company, right?
Yeah, like you that type of stuff is not, that's just not, normal to easily be able to think up ideas and be creative like that.
Well, let me add to that, to what you were saying, because I really feel like my success is because I love to educate. You know
Mm.
what I mean? A lot of people have the issues that they have and it's going through the things they're going through because of lack of knowledge. That's actually where we lose. Our culture have
Mhm.
been losing because of lack of knowledge.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of laziness in it also, but I don't really want to get on to that, to each its own. But it's the lack of knowledge that's always held us back, simply
Mhm.
not knowing. You know what I mean? And we have access to the education, to the knowledge, but some people decide to get it, some people don't, some people just, so comfortable. Um,
Mhm.
I feel like the biggest reason for my success was it started on a personal level. When I first started doing my own research and finding out about these herbs, my father had became sick. Um, he
Mm.
was dealing with kidney failure. So me and Pop started actually doing our own research, going back and forth, looking online in books, and every other day or so we'll share the information with each other.
Mhm.
Long story short, I lost my father in that battle, thinking we had more time. That following year, which was 2019, I almost lost my mother. Still grieving off my father, I kind of lost my mother.
Mm.
I'm in the hospital working with the doctors and the nurses. You know what I mean? Just off from, what I've read and done my research. Uh, but my mother was watching me as well. And she had
Mhm.
enough faith in me, when I'm telling my mother, Mom, we got to do a plant-based alkaline diet. We got to get you off these meats. We got to get you off these acidics. We got to get you off these hybrids, and it scared her enough to where she was ready for the change and she had faith in, you know, what I was doing. And we made it happen. Within 2 weeks, her numbers was low enough where she didn't have to take her insulin.
Oh wow.
Within the first 2 months, the doctor took her off her insulin. 90 days later, she called me while I was at work crying, saying, Baby, I'm not a diabetic no more. Which,
Mm.
technically, anytime you're diabetic, your DNA changes. You'll always be diabetic, but she no longer had them diabetic symptoms. She no longer had to take her insulin. But I understand what she was saying.
Mhm.
So it's like the proof is in the pudding. This is before, the business. Um, my mother found had a couple of other friends, she brought them along. Hey baby, you gotta help my friend, you gotta help them, you help them, and all I did was just educate, telling, speaking of the things we supposed to eat, the things that we don't eat, uh black people, we don't digest dairy products. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you ask the average person what's their favorite vegetable, they're gonna say broccoli. Broccoli is not a real vegetable. It's genetically made for profitable reasons. It's a hybrid. So it's like we think we're doing right, but we're still doing wrong. She actually,
Mhm.
took the initiative and wanted that change for herself. So I was no hero. She was the hero for wanting that change. I
Mhm.
tell people all the time, don't look at it as saying, oh, I'm going on a diet. You're basically telling yourself, oh, if I'm going on a diet, I'm going to do it for a certain period of time and I'm going back to my other ways. So look at it as a lifestyle change. Um,
Mhm.
we're educating people and letting them know that there's different options. Like, that pandemic put a lot of scare in the people. Now, I always say
Mhm.
that this country is ran off of distractions and fear. Uh,
Mhm.
that pandemic was absolutely proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You scare somebody enough, you can get them to do what you want. It started out, as a one shot and two shot and three shots. Then it's a booster and it's a second booster. I'm like, man, y'all dropping more shots than Master P hits in the '90s. I'm like, what's going on? You just told me you only needed
Listen,
one. You know what I mean? But I,
I
I,
think them
I
shots blew us up too. They
yeah,
talk
it
about
was.
everybody got fat big backs now. I said it's the COVID shots.
It was a different change. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's still the same way. Like I feel like it created a lot of mental illness with people.
Yeah, fear always does that, and that's what they did. Like you said, they pumped the fear into us, and one thing that you said that's very important is, you got to want to know. You can't just let people tell you anything. We've been seeing this for years.
Right.
I know a lot of my listeners aren't just African Americans, but if I could speak for my people, for years they have been telling us things that has not been good for us. They have been using us as test dummies for different experiments and things like that. So, it is very important for us to do the research ourselves, for us to look
Absolutely.
at it ourselves.
Absolutely. If I speak on it, but do your own research. You ain't got to necessarily just
Mhm.
take my word for it. You know what I mean? Look it up
Mhm.
yourself. Find out yourself.
Mhm.
What's better than actually going to find out for yourself and knowing. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I feel like and I don't mean this in any defense, but I feel like stupidity is an option. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like because I see people all the time walking around, they have the smartphones and they'll look up what they want to look up. But if it's something educational, if it's something beneficial, they won't look
Mhm.
that up. They won't even
Mhm.
give it a second thought to even do that. So it's like,
I agree.
it's just different times.
Yeah. And I'll let you kind of run down all of the benefits that like you don't have to do them all because it's a lot of benefits of using CMOS.
Yes.
But I know even for me, when we started using it, first it was so that we could build up our immune system.
Right.
And I noticed like taking the sea moss, and I did like you. Once I got my first jar from you, remember I had you ship a jar to my mom. I tried to look out for my people, and I was telling people about it because I saw the benefits. I saw that I had more energy. I saw that I didn't have all that phlegm and everything in the morning. So it was different things that I was using. I have a teenage daughter that was going through acne. They go through that acne stage, and she was trying all kind of different things, for her skin. And so then she started doing the CMOS mask. And she's the one that's on me. She's like, "Oh, we need another jar. Well, we need another jar," because she's very consistent with it. She also, sometimes I was just putting a little bit in my coffee, or and taking a little bit in the mornings. But even with her mask, we would do the mask. I've also did the mask as well, and you could see the benefit, um, like really quickly. Versus using something over the counter where I don't even really know what's all in this, and I know it's not natural. So the sea moss is definitely, the benefits of sea moss. It's more than what we know. It's more than taking it. People say, "Well, how do you take it?" What are some ways that you've seen people use your product?
Um, I would say the most effective way is eating it right out the jar, but then
Mm-hmm.
it's that's can be difficult because there's no other food that I can really compare it to. That
Okay.
consistency, that gel texture is something very different.
Mm-hmm.
But
It is.
like I always say, it's mind over matter. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I you see people drink liquor straight every day. You're not gonna tell me
Mm-hmm.
that that's delicious. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
mind over matter. But I've seen, people add it to applesauce, add it to smoothies, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
coffee, hot tea.
Mm-hmm.
Sea moss is actually a food, so you can literally add it to anything. You
Okay.
want to add it to cream of wheat oatmeal. You want to add it to one of your special dishes. Or find a creative way to add it in. There's so many ways you can be creative and add it, and can get it consumed into your daily plan. That you know, even if it's just um, blending it in a blender with some juice. Just a little bit in
Mm.
the juice. It might make your
In a
juice a little bit
smoothie.
thicker, but easier way to get it down. And it's I
Okay.
think I think it's mostly about the time, what's
Mm-hmm.
convenient. People that like at one point when I had time to make the smoothies every morning, I was making them every morning. But when I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have time to, I'm just I'm throwing it back right out the jar and I'm going on about my day. So, but
Okay.
um, that's actually why I had started doing the gummies as well, because I felt like they was attacking the kids, and I wanted to give another option, of
Mm-hmm.
taking the sea moss. So I had uh, came out with the sea moss gummies. It was more
Okay.
convenient too and easier too.
Okay.
It's very tedious. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
everything's made by hand, and I make everything myself. And that's from
Mm-hmm.
the prep and the cleaning, the you got to clean, then soak and clean again and blend. And you know what I mean? It's a lot. And then you
Mm-hmm.
add in the herbs, and then you got a jar, label the jars. It's a lot of work. But I
And
didn't
you
have
do
time to
it.
do it.
You
Yeah,
get it done. You've been doing it for a while. That's
Oh
why,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to have you on here because I'm like, okay, so this man goes to work and your work hours, you're not starting at no 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no, I wish. Let's
So
try
just that
four, 4 or
consistency.
5 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, they grind. Like I love it. That's how like I need my circle like it, just to keep me motivated too. You get up, you go to work, and then you're doing your CMOS, then you're doing deliveries, and now you've expanded out to where, if we wanted to get some CMOS, we don't have to just go through you. You have local business that's, trust and believe in your product to where
Right.
now you're able to sell your product in some of these businesses as well. Um, and I give God the credit. Like I just do. I feel like the little things, I try to stay in the spirit of gratitude and I try to find God in every story. Like that
Absolutely.
stuff don't just happen overnight, Charlie. Like that
It
stuff,
doesn't.
people have to believe in your product to say, okay, I will partner with you and let you sell this in my business or my
Right.
store. And so that just proves that you have a great product. And this is not just something I'm talking about, but there's a lot of people in the community that you have helped with their health and they believe in this product. And I think this is just the beginning of this product. One day we're going to just probably be going to Kroger's or Walmart and getting your product off the shelf. Like I can see it going that far. Um,
Absolutely.
before I go into, because I do want to ask you how can we find your products? I know you do shipping, but for those that's sitting back watching this, that's thinking, do I need CMOS? Through this interview, you talked about the diabetes. We talked about the immune. I talked about the skin. What are something that we might not have discussed yet, where some you think this will be beneficial for someone?
Well, a lot of people dealing with blood pressure issues.
Mm,
Excuse me. Blood pressure issues, cholesterol, um,
okay.
low iron. There are so many, like CMOS has so many benefits. It almost don't sound true when you get to speaking of
Mm-hmm.
benefits. You almost expect somebody to say, "Oh man, you're lying." You know what I mean? Because you can go on
Mm-hmm.
and on and on. And just to run down some of the benefits, it revitalizes all the blood cells, strengthens the immune
Mm.
system, it boosts your metabolism. It has 92 of the 102 minerals that the body is made up of that we need daily. Eliminates mucus throughout the entire body. Vitamins A, E, F, D, and K. Um, it's great for eczema, asthma, sinuses, arthritis, uh, I mean, like the list goes on and on of the benefits. So it's
Mhm.
like this is basically something that I really feel like everyone needs. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
there's so many benefits, and we're all dealing with something. You know what I mean? Even if it's no more than like you were saying, you and your daughter was doing. If you was just doing the facials, CMOS actually is it's like a masking cream, and it pulls toxins from the skin. It's also good for aging. High vitamin E, hair, skin, and nails. That's consuming and actually putting in your hair. You can get the benefits for the vitamin E. There's so many benefits from it. It's like it's there's a little bit in sea moss for everybody. Um, Depending
Mm.
on if you're using it as a mask and cream or if you're consuming, if you want to soak your hands, soak your feet, it does so much for the body. Um,
Okay.
that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Well, pharmaceuticals don't want to speak of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because of all the benefits, it'll keep you from the hospital. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Where can we find this sea moss? And I know the other day you told me that you are starting to ship outside of the country now with this sea moss. I just love it. I just feel like all that's God's favor. I love to see people grow and I love to see businesses grow. So, like, let's say if someone can't get in contact with you, there's some local businesses that they can walk in and purchase this product, right? Okay,
Correct.
where can we find Happy Camper Sea Moss Gel?
Actually, there's 1740 Berry Boulevard at Attacks um, Gym in the South Louisville. Also, I have a location down in Southern Indiana, which is 1400 East Main Street,
Okay.
um, Blades and Faith Barbershop. Uh, Also, you can also get there. I do actually do personal deliveries every day. I really don't take a break. So um, my website is still actually under construction, but
Mm-hmm.
I have like on my flyer, my contact information is on the bottom of the flyer. You can also reach me on my social media, which is Charlie Burner. It's Facebook and um, Instagram. Next to it, if you see it, that's the way you can spell my name. That's my social media on there.
Okay. And so what
So
I will do, Charlie, is I'll go ahead and I'll link. Um, I'll definitely when I post this, I'll definitely put your card, your flyer up, and I'll also link some of that information down at the on the description. For those of you that's watching on YouTube, and also for those of you that's listening on our audio, if you go in the description, you'll be able to see how you can contact him so that you can get some of this product. This is what we are all about. You can't depend on anyone else for your well-being. You definitely can't depend on anyone else for your realness. But we are all about trying to get better, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, financially, everything.
absolutely right.
And I feel honored to have Mr. Burner on this podcast because, like I said, I'm a transplant to this city. And the good thing about, I feel for me, the benefit of being a transplant is I get an opportunity to get to know people for myself. I don't know anybody to really say, okay, well, who is this or who is that? And I prefer not to. I prefer to just meet people and see what the spirit do. And I know when I first met you, like I said, it was a business deal. Years later, you're still in business, you haven't changed, you're still consistent in not just business but just in your personality and being respectful and being genuine and being a hardworking man. Like I said, you just bring this light into the room. Your energy itself has always been on point. It's not a bad energy. So I feel honored to be able to actually highlight your product because I know for myself the person that makes it, and I know for myself the benefit of it. Like, you got to be careful, advertising certain things, but I know for this, I've seen the benefit of it. I've used your product, and so that's just the whole thing of good business. And with this podcast, the whole goal is to continue to grow, continue to find better versions of ourselves. And this is a prime example of what we need to be surrounded with. Our friends, our circle should be people that's motivated, they get up. I don't think you can be friends with Charlie and be lazy unless you just lazy, you just in it. Because if this man is getting up at 5, and then you see how he's doing his work, and you see how after work he's going and doing his deliveries, and he's just growing his business. If you have a want, and that's why I say this podcast isn't for everybody, it's for the people that want to grow, it's for the people that want to be better, it's for the people that have dreams and have visions. And so if you want to do that and you have people like this in your circle, like, you're going to be motivated just talking to them, just having them around you, versus someone that's pulling you down, versus someone that's not really doing anything. And so they can't really motivate you because y'all not on the same wavelength. And so that's what we are on in this podcast. Like, we are on trying to continue to grow. Last season we talked about releasing so God can replace. If y'all don't have a Charlie Burner in your life, release them so God can replace it with someone with a genuine heart, someone with hard work ethic, someone that has the motivation to where they don't even have to say nothing. You can just look at their lives and see the fruit in their lives. Like, this is what we need to be surrounded with so that we can also grow and be a better person. So we don't want rotten fruit in our circle. So I just want to say thank you, Charlie, for agreeing to be on here. Thank you for being obedient to God and stepping out and not being afraid, not having fear, having the courage to step out and do something different, and continue to have the courage to educate your people whether they want to hear it or not. You're consistent even with your social media posts. I've seen a lot of people having posts and they're looking for seamoss. This is your seamoss guy. And like I said, y'all don't want to buy things from just anybody, right? So you got a good spirit behind working, making this seamoss, putting his hands to it. He's a good guy, a real genuine soul that I know that God has so much more in store for him. And so before we go, Charlie, can you leave those people as watching this, that young guy that maybe, looking at this, that want to say, okay, well, I want to be able to step out. I have a vision. I have, something that I want to do. I have a product that I want to push. What advice would you give someone that's wanting to be an entrepreneur or step out? with a product or step out into business, what do you think the key? You already said consistency was the key, but is there anything else that you think that will just kind of help them reach that goal?
God, God help
Amen.
you reach that goal. But also with that is the company you keep. You got to watch the
Mm-hmm.
company you keep. You got to also watch the energy that you allow around you. I'm big on energy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if the energy ain't if the energy ain't pleasant, I'll walk away in a minute. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand that uh, acknowledging certain things, you're empowering certain people. So
Mm-hmm.
and it's not what they say to you, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. You know what I mean? Strength in mind, consistency, walk with God. Don't give up. Don't
That's
give up.
it.
And nothing comes easy. If you want it, it's
Mm-hmm.
there, but you got to get it. You got to make it happen. You got to put the work in. You know what I mean? If you stay
Mm-hmm.
consistency, like they say, you build it, they will come. I mean,
That's
honestly,
right.
and that means you building your company up, you building yourself up,
Mm-hmm.
build your energy up. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So just stay on it, give it to God, talk to God every day, and keep moving
That's
forward.
it. That's it. I agree. I
You
agree.
got to
That's some
believe in
perfect
you. If
advice.
you don't believe in you, nobody else will.
That's it. And that's why I call this according to his purpose, because I spend a lot of time in life like, doing things. Everybody want to be successful. Everybody want to, feel like they're moving in purpose. And you got to be careful. If you're around the wrong people, people have you believing things about yourself that's not true. And you'll find yourself doing different things and spending your time in ways that's not beneficial to your future. And
Right.
that's why it's so important, like you said, to believe in you. So I kind of had to get back to really searching and seeking who I am, and also trusting and believing in myself, believing what God said about me, not what this world says about me, so that I can, go forward. So that's why in this podcast, we try to motivate people to love them, fall back in love with yourself. Know that you are enough. If, like you said, if that energy is not right around somebody, you got to get away. And that's part of being real to yourself. We worry about being real to other people, but be real to yourself. You keep going in circles and it don't feel right. You don't even feel like you fit in. Why you keep going? Because you worry about somebody saying, "Oh, you lame," or "You this," or "You ain't." Who cares? The successful people
Who wants
are
to fit
people.
in? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Who wants to fit in and be normal? Like, everybody want to be unique. You should want to be unique. When you understand that God has created something in you that's unique and different, that's when and you can walk in that. That's when you're gonna find your niche. That's when you're gonna find your thing. Like Charlie did, if he was sitting back watching and seeing what everybody else was doing, he wouldn't been able to seek from the look on the inside and see what it is that God had already put inside of him that is very successful. Because I know, look, I ain't getting into your pockets, Charlie, but I know that this is a good business, a
Yeah,
successful business that I believe your kids is gonna be able to benefit from. So once again, Mr. Burner, I thank you for agreeing to be on According to His Purpose podcast. I thank you for being patient. We had some hiccups in the beginning, but you stuck around. So I appreciate you for just being you, sir. Please continue to be you. There's people watching you more than you know it. Um, and like I said, God is getting ready to, I'm sure, I know God is getting ready to take your business to levels that you can't even imagine. That order that you had to ship out the country, I'm seeing it's going to probably be every day. It's going to expand. So for those of you that wants to try his product, like I said, everything is linked below. Please share this with your family, your friends, especially those that suffering from high blood pressure, those that suffering from diabetes. Make sure that you guys get them a jar, and let us know the progress, because there will be progress. So let us know the difference that you see from taking this product versus taking the medication that you're getting every day. And do consult your doctors with it. Let them know that what you're doing too, so we don't have any issues with what they try to give you. But hey, I recommend that everybody tries this, and let's continue to just become better mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of that good stuff.
absolutely.
So all right. Well, I thank you guys for tuning in to episode 12. Until next time.